It started with whispers, faint at first, barely audible. A breath against the ear, a distant murmur in the dark. But then, the voices grew louder. 16-year-old Claire wasn't sleeping much these days. Not since the night she woke up screaming, hands clawing at her throat as if invisible fingers were wrapped around it. Her parents dismissed it as a nightmare, but Claire knew better. Something was inside her room, watching. Then the bruises started appearing, dark, jagged fingerprints on her arms, scratches along her spine. The doctors had no explanation. Maybe she's sleepwalking, they said. But Claire was awake, wide awake, and every night she could feel it drawing closer. The change was subtle at first, the way she stared into the mirror for too long, whispering to herself. The sudden, violent outbursts. Her voice, deeper, wrong, as if something else was speaking through her. Then came the night she attacked her mother. No one saw it coming. One moment, Claire was sitting at the dinner table, silent, picking at her food. The next, she lunged, knocking her mother to the floor, screaming in a language no one understood. Her eyes, and they weren't hers anymore. They were black, empty. That's when they called Father Damien. He had seen cases like this before, but never one so strong. The moment he stepped into the house, the air changed, heavy, suffocating. The walls seemed to breathe. The lights flickered. Claire was waiting. She was tied to the bed, her body convulsing, her lips moving in whispered prayer or curses. The moment she saw him, she smiled. Not a child's smile, but something ancient, something hungry. "She's not here anymore," she said. But it wasn't her voice. The exorcism began. Latin prayers echoed through the room. Holy water sizzled against her skin. She laughed, then screamed, then silence. And then the bed shook. The walls cracked. The shadows in the room stretched and twisted. Something unseen lashed out, knocking over furniture, slamming doors. Claire's body twisted in ways no human body should. Bones snapped. Her mouth stretched wide, too wide, as if something inside her was trying to crawl out. Then she spoke. "Again! You can't have her!" The voice was deep, guttural, inhuman. The air turned frigid. Father Damien pressed the cross against her forehead, forcing her down, chanting louder. Claire thrashed, screamed. The room shook, and then a final, ear-piercing shriek, then stillness. Claire collapsed, her breathing shallow. Her eyes fluttered open, blue, human, terrified. It was over, or so they thought. That night, as her parents tucked her into bed, Claire whispered something that sent a chill down their spines. He said he'll come back. And in the darkness of the room, just beyond the flickering candlelight, a shadow moved, watching, waiting.